Want to find out how this half of the month is panning out for your zodiac sign and how to get the best out of it? Come and join Yildiz Readings 5D and we'll have a look. A very warm welcome to Yildiz Readings 5D. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover astrology, soul coaching, twin flame path and more. I am live weekly, so please click the bell and subscribe. And if you do want more creative content like this, come and join the tribe. Additionally, we have the members zone, so if you do want the creative content early and have a coaching room, we do have the join button. For all booking information, the link is directly below. Without further ado, let's get into the update for your zodiac sign for your bi-monthly report. For all the dates, retrogrades and aspects occurring, as well as the great days and the difficult days, I have created a report after this update for your zodiac sign and it is incorporated inside. You can stream forward now or let's jump into your update. Hi Cancer, welcome back. We're here to do your bi-monthly update. The information in this video covers your love, your career, money, health, and your emotional well-being with the Chakra report at the end of the video. If you do wish to see the aspects, as I mentioned earlier, they're at the very end of the video and they're key dates and must-knows. The great days, the hard days, and how to navigate them. Let's have a look at your love life without further ado. Beautiful Cancers, in the zone of romance, singles, couples, in-betweens and twins. Yes, we do cover twin flame journey on this channel, which regardless of whether you are or aren't, this can be a great opportunity to enhance yourself. Now, I will say that due to the fact we have Mars in Cancer, you can be a little bit high-strung for the next few months. But you also may have a lot more energy, but you do need to be very mindful of going too quick. Now, inside your connections, the one thing I will say is because we have Pluto retrograde in your 7th house, which is your Venus house, you can be really sitting with things and coming to terms with relationships and connections of the past point blank zero. And we do inside this video, which I will have up next, the family sector. So we'll incorporate that also. You may find that you're wanting to move into that deeper commitment. You may have wounds relating to the past. You also may be having a lot of clarity that certain situations really do need to be left in the past at an emotional level. It doesn't mean to say that it's directly the connection you're tuning into or the one you're currently in. This is a fantastic time to deepen those commitments, and definitely during this time we can have people from the past coming back. I also feel taking the responsibility inside of these things, you might have had a lot on your plate. As Saturn goes retrograde in your 8th house, the balancing of things inside of connections and Juno retrograde in Sagittarius for the next 13 to 17 weeks. This is a renegotiation for all signs in the element of love and commitments. Some of you may be assessing previous partnerships you were in imbalances within them and maybe excessive energy poured into them. And it's really the polarity of your values and whether they match the current energy you're tuning into. So collectively, we are going through a shake-up zone and there can be tension points inside connections. Being forewarned, forearmed, we're more able to navigate the matrix of the astrology, but it can be a beautiful time to fine-tune those connections and look at the areas where you can enhance it. And this can be a time also that the intimacy and partnerships are taking more direct accountability, and definitely during this time our spirit guides can be with us. Now, this is the month where you will really have to pace yourself and you can feel quite burnt out. And most definitely, it can also be a time where you feel everyone wants a piece of Cancer. Now, I do feel the balancing of things coming through. And as I mentioned, a renegotiation, be it you're coupled or single. For those of you that do have children, there can also be emotions relating to your childhood that come up. Now, this can also be subjects to do with your siblings, You can have a renegotiation of who does what within household chores. There can be a lot of that tedious energy, as well as deepening commitments where you see the connections going and with whom that's going to be with. Now, if potentially you are in a relationship that you've really been on the fence with, this can be a time where it does bring it to a close. And that might have really been kicked off last month when we had the full moon in Scorpio. The full moon in Scorpio for your zodiac sign did fall in your 5th house. So again, this may come down to your childhood and the creative projects you had, the past times, maybe you had a little bit of a break and now you're getting back to business. And this can be for the bigger picture of things. So if you were able to have a little bit of a break, that can really benefit you. And this can be also, stay tuned for the work domain because it's super interesting for your zodiac sign. You know, as I mentioned, renegotiating the terms. Some of you may really be coming to terms with the past, the energy of your childhood, or subjects relating to children, and a deep transformation needing in those areas, but it is a soul healing. So as I mentioned, without further ado, let's get into the update for how the moon is going to affect your love life. Now, number one, I will mention, because we had the Scorpion moon, it's still lingering over to this month. Now, I'm going to briefly mention Mars in Cancer and the new moon in Taurus in this area of your life. You may find you can be more agitated. You may find if you were in a relationship that you were really unhappy with and there was a separation, finances and things to that degree can be panning out and the sharing of those resources. Very separately, this can be a very playful time where you're turning over a new leaf and you're making some set plans with love interests and becoming more social, but you will have an extremely busy month. I will say, last but not least, if the relationship is under pressure, yes, you can really see the cracks and potential breakups can occur over the next 13 weeks. How we can counteract it, if we're really wanting that connection, is by coming to it in a non-codependent fashion, understanding each other's needs, renegotiating the terms, and taking the direct steps to shift that energy. Now let's have a look at your family zone, as well as do stay tuned for the financial report, both with money coming in and the money going out. Let's have a look at your family. Now, as I mentioned, in the area of family, they can be super emotional. There can be subjects to do with creative pursuits, your money, children, and you know, the balance of life and love, needing to be everywhere and everything to everyone. You will have more energy, but you do need to be very cautious of the people you're surrounding yourself with. You are an empath in nature, and emotionally people can be super triggered. We may be inclined, for those of us that don't follow astrology or have the know-how in the new age world of knowing how the moon can directly affect us. Now, number one, Mars will be in the house of Cancer. And initially, this can feel very testing and you can be pouring your energy into it. But it also can be building upon your income later. But from a family perspective, you may be doing a lot of soul healing. I would say that a lot of clients at the moment are having lineage related dynamics coming up. And when I mention lineage, it's almost like what we were conditioned to believe in our value systems coming up, especially because towards the other half of the month, we are going to be having the eclipse in Sagittarius, which is to do with religion, education, foreign countries, travel, and it can be our belief systems and our conditioning. So these subjects can be coming up. This is in your 6th house. So, you know, worry and stress and healthy boundaries are habits and routines. It can be a time that, as I mentioned, we need to be careful of whom we're mixing with. We need to be in awareness of what the astrology is and to not take these things personal. It also can be a time where we are really taking care of our health and understanding we need to create healthy ways to deal with our stress, and it may be environmental. The report at the end of this video does give you a day-by-day moon update, and for your zodiac sign, I would say you can use crown chakra, you can use psychic protection gems like tourmaline, tiger eye, and from another level, paying attention to where the moon is. because we had the full moon in Scorpio, it's very water in element, and the moon transits are very much linked to you from an emotional point of view. Clear your home throughout the month and even moving towards June. Between April 23rd and June the 11th, there's a lot of areas that, can be coming up for triggers. So by making sure your home is organized, especially in the realm of family, having a nurtured environment, having a place to rest, getting life into balance and organized with the 6th house will really benefit you. Now, the moon report at the end of the video does navigate through. It tells you the crystals, gems, tips and tricks. Let's get into your career sector. Will you have the energy? Yes, you will. Can you be emotional and tested this month? Yes, you will. If you're looking for employment, be it you're employed, you're unemployed, I'm going to give you the tips and tricks here. Now, I would say if you're applying for jobs, get the resumes out now. With your vitality and energy, both with the 1st house and the 6th house, you do need to pay careful attention to your diet, which we will get into in the health report astrologically, as well as the emotional report. So balance both of those polarities, and you, like an energizer battery, are going to get the best out of your life. Now, I would say in the career sector, this can be growth and development. You do need to be careful, and some of you may be thinking, do I change jobs, especially with the 7th house? Now, don't second guess the income area, because after June, all the hard work you put in, you can be gaining extra boost, and especially by the 2nd week of this month. This is an opportunity to quality assure things. You can be a little bit more accident prone because it is go, go, go. Pay attention to things. By the mid-month point, read your emails, fine-tune things. Especially avoid any conflict when it does come to bosses and anything to that degree. Try and do everything you can in the most responsible sense. But you could also be looked upon as somebody in hierarchy this month. So, keep up the good work, do what you're needing to do. Assessments of contracts can be coming up, but also changes in roles can come up. If you are currently employed, it may be that people are seeing your true colors, and especially because we do have Aries and Chiron in your 10th house, you're going to have the energy to pour into your career sector, but you also need to be investing in self. So it is it's a mixed bag this month. Now, financially, I will say that because we have Jupiter in Pisces, there can be a lot more travel. If you are blogging and advertising, this can be a really great time to get that going. And during this transit, it can give you an opportunity to see how the energy of Jupiter will be reacting to your zodiac sign and what subjects can come up in 2022. So take notes, take steps, and then that way you guys will be prepared for 2022 and what you need to do. And you'll start doing the shift now. It'll pretty much start as soon as it transits there, and it will benefit you. This can be working away. It could be advertising. It might be, becoming part of a group. It may be upskilling and educating. At this point, because we do have Sagittarius in the South Node, I would say if you're upskilling, short courses, so to speak, to balance that polarity. But definitely there is advances in that area. Now, from a financial level, with the 11th house and the new moon in Taurus, if you're tying up bills and debts, which we will get into the money sector in a second, and we'll discuss all of these facets of money because we do have the new moon in your 11th house. So we're going to talk about the ins and outs of the finances next and how this can be playing out for you in a moment. Those of you that are needing to seek employment, making sure your health is in order, putting out the resumes at this point. You can receive a second source of income. And some of the quality systems you're taking will come through, but really use this time to tune into what you feel is relevant to you. Read the fine print. Some of you can be getting contracts in larger companies. And also some of you can actually benefit from networking with past people that you've worked for. I would say Your mind will be more clear in thought as we move forward. We did have Mars and Gemini. So if you did find you were really psychoanalyzing things, you now can be getting into the polarity of how it directly affected your health. So you might have been romanticizing things or being really torn. And that can be in all facets of life. And having too much on your plate and having issues concentrating, you may find that due to the fact Mars is going to be in Cancer, you still may need to recoup a little bit. So be patient with the people you're working with. Everyone may be super triggered in the next few weeks. You may be in tune to the energy around you. Keep away from energies that you don't resonate with. If you're coming home after a hard day's work or you're stressing out about the employment area, there is growth and movement in your sector. Those of you, if you're putting the resumes out, focus on where the Leo moon is. And I do feel that a lot of you could be actually receiving this push by about May the 18th, but it can come up earlier. Let's talk about money, Cancer. Now, I do see a potential with Jupiter moving into the house of Pisces that there could be a lot of aspects linking to travel. This can be money spent in that area. This can also be to do with advertising, blogging, or for your business when it does come to networking. These times are going to show you what 2022 is going to look like. So in the financial sector, the things you need to shift, this could even be the element of working away. Money can be spent on areas of children, and especially at this time to do with social activities. But finances also can come after the 11th of May. Now, this is because we have the new moon in Taurus, and you can potentially be paying off debts, getting things in order, especially because you have Pluto retrograde in your 7th house. This can be fine-tuning things, and as I mentioned, some of you may be obtaining new positions, some of you may be having a very interesting time at work, and others of you, it can be more assessing the responsibilities inside of these areas. Yes, abundance is on the horizon and luck is on your side, especially after the new moon in Taurus. So do have faith in that process, but keep an eye on your health. This time frame is going to give you opportunities to fine-tune and quality assure your income. It can be looking at added expenses that you're having in your budget where you can make changes so that you can have a bit more in your pocket. But definitely from the steps you're taking, a lot of you over the next 3 months can be gaining financially. Let's have a look at your health department and then we'll get on to the emotions by the moon phases. Now, the health area of your chart I will be interpreting in various amount of ways. The one thing I can say is you will have a lot more vitality, but your nervous system can be depleted because you do have the first house placement. Mars entering your sign is going to give you the energy, and with the 5th house in Scorpio, there can be the luxuries that you potentially were having in your diet. You may be bringing that to an end after that full moon in Scorpio. We can be more sensitive to foods with the area of Scorpio, so pay attention to your health and diet more from a nutritional point of view, and especially with stress levels, because you did have Mars on your 12th house, so you can find some reprieve at this point, and a lot of social activities can be coming up. Especially in the element of travel, we do have Jupiter in your 9th house. You may find you're eating on the run. You may find that you can link psychology to the domain of your health and well-being. So it's as above, as within, as without. It's really getting that yin-yang in order. Pay very close attention to the people that you are surrounding yourself with. Attempt to not surround yourself with individuals that bring a certain vibration out in you. We can be drawn to really have this emotion inside the zodiac sign of Cancer at the moment of what is your purpose, and that can make complete sense with the element of Jupiter there in your 9th house. There can be a lot of travel, so getting adequate rest, eating food groups that are going to balance you, and with the the feeling of the 8th house, and when I say the feeling of the 8th house, if we've had a relative pass over, and this would be previously, you can be being really hard on yourself, looking at that element of the unknown, how that made you feel, what the restrictions were, all these emotions from the past coming up. You will find that your guides can be around you, but also you can't work yourself to death, so looking at how you can do that, what situations in your life are feeling taxing, what you can do within your circle of power, and just really quality systeming this pretty much over to June the 11th. Pace yourself through this month. Understand people are going to be irritable. Also know your own body. Get to have that personal relationship with yourself. You guys are great with other people, but they can affect your aura. So like I said, create those healthy boundaries. It doesn't mean screaming or anything to that degree. It means more just acknowledging what's going on inside of you, sitting with it, talking to your closest, nearest and dearest, and being aware that Mars in Cancer for other individuals can agitate them, so that can frustrate you. Towards the end of that transit, you can become more fatigued, but you may find you have more vitality and can be having the energy to tackle those tasks you need to. Okay, onto your emotional well-being via moon, astrology, and the chakras. This can help you cope with this half of the month. We do have between the 1st and the 2nd the moon transit in Capricorn. This for you is base chakra. It also can be very much linking with your connections. You may have emotions relating to it. You can balance the base chakra. This can be your safety in the midst of transformations and change. So you can wear gems that are red, ruby, breathing exercises, eating the food groups, using crystals and guided meditation for that, and trust the process. But emotions relating to these areas can come up. Lower back pains. So again, anything that you can change to actually feel that safety, to feel anchored in. It can be just as basic as taking your shoes off, breathing and anchoring the energy in. We then have the moon transiting Aquarius, and this is from the 3rd to the 4th, and it's a very similar frequency, but our nervous system can be directly affected. Also, it is very similar for you, being that it's in the 8th house, so those restrictions, the burdens, emotions can be coming up, really relating to areas of the unknown. Uncertainty. Is there something in your power you can do? Understand it's part of the transit, and understand that if your emotions are coming up, journal it down, get it out of your body, get the base chakra in alignment, and clear the crown chakra. So your nervous system, you can eat the food groups, connected in to that of what is out of your control. But definitely trust your intuition. But if you're needing to do something, by balancing these two chakras, as above, as below, be aware it can affect your nervous system. You can be irritable. You can cope with that point in time. We then have the moon transiting Pisces, and that's from the 5th through to the 6th. For you, it's going to be crown chakra. So make sure you're having adequate fluid. Make sure that, again, your nervous system is directly in alignment. You're eating healthy, you're doing the things to support it, and again, whatever you feel in your vitality you're going to need. But definitely try to change and turn over a leaf when it does come to the psychology of things. If you're fearing that you can't create your dreams, if you're feeling that your psychology is being affected by the environment and the circumstances, what can you do within your power to change it in a healthy format that can be a permanency, not a temporary fix? With the element of Pisces, this can be a stage where, for many of us, not just your zodiac sign, is that we can go to a quick fix, and that quick fix sometimes can be unhealthy things, be it food, illicit, whatever it be. So finding that healthy way to deal with the triggering circumstance can really benefit you, and I do see this coming through for many of us collectively. But because we have Jupiter in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, it can be a heightened emotion and an expansion of such. So bear that in mind and shift things about that need shifting. Now from the 7th to the 9th, we have the moon transiting Aries. Our emotions can be heightened, things can be amplified, especially because we have Mars transiting your first house. This does connect into your 10th house also, as well as base chakra. So if you're feeling that you can't achieve things or you have too much on your plate, really anchoring it in and getting your base chakra balanced, getting grounded. If there is something emotionally in your control you can change, do such. But bear in mind to pay attention to your back, pay attention to the nervous energy, and be in awareness. You can be a little bit more frustrated. So I would say getting anchored in, understanding it's a transit, understanding emotions can be heightened. Is there something you directly can change? Great. You can either read food groups, you can do guided meditation for base chakra, do breathing exercises, and move beyond the fear. It also can be how people are seeing us. Maybe we're second guessing ourselves. Maybe we're feeling we haven't done enough. Should we be working? Are we doing enough? How can we change things? All of those areas can come up. Okay, from the 10th to the 12th, we do have the moon transiting Taurus. This is a time in which we will have that new moon. We can be more inclined to be eating luxuries at this time. It's also heart chakra. Pay attention to your health. Pay attention to the things that you're doing in social activities. Try not to overexert yourself. But you can be having heart chakra activation at this point. You may be more inclined to want the luxuries and looking at the emotion and the food groups, or, eating on the run, so to speak. We can be more inclined to do so. I have found through the transits with Taurus placements, we are inclined to eat candy. Now from the 13th to the 14th, we have the moon transiting Gemini, and it is throat chakra, but for you it's also crown chakra because you have it in the 12th. Practicing good self-speech. If you have throat chakra coming up like Yildiz Readings 5D on this video, it is very early in the morning. Please forgive me. You can do guided meditation, eating the food groups for that area, using crystals and gems, but always, if you are unsure, seek a professional. On the 15th to the 17th, we then have the moon transiting your first house. And this can be a time where you're looking at yourself, where you could be at war with yourself, where you could be really feeling quite great. And yes, we do have Mars in Cancer. So very much intuition, your emotions, check in with yourself, be gentle to yourself, and all shall pass. Last but not least, we then have the moon transiting Leo, and that is from the 17th in the afternoon through to the 19th, okay? And with that, it is heart chakra. It is also third eye, clearing both those areas, and especially subjects relating to self-esteem and income can come up. Trust your intuition yet again, Cancer. You're very intuitive. Clear those areas, get grounded, and I will see you for the next part of the report. This does hold the important dates, how to directly deal with them. They are itemized on the screen, and you can scroll forward and scroll back at any time. Keep this video for reference, where it can help you navigate the first half of this month. Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, this is your bi-monthly energy update astrologically. Now, I am going to mention the tedious energies of where the placements are. Okay, we do have the new moon occurring on the 11th in the house of Taurus. The sun also currently is in Taurus, and it will enter Gemini on the 20th. Mercury is in the house of Taurus, and it will be entering the house of Gemini on the 9th and going into shadow retrograde by mid-month. Mars also is in the house of Cancer until June the 11th, so bear that in mind when it comes to your emotions. We're also going to be having Venus in Taurus up until the 9th, where it will transit into the house of Gemini. that can be where we are going to be super busy, but we will need this flexibility to be playful and to be ourselves and not be controlling. We're also towards mid-month 26 going to be having the total lunar eclipse in the house of Sagittarius. Now, the Astrology Big Boss states is the place where you need to be mindful of retrogrades and major transits. Jupiter will be entering the house of Pisces on the 13th of May 2021, and it can give you themes of what's going to happen in 2022, so it's a very important time to be having a look at those areas. Now, we will start feeling Saturn going into shadow by about the 15th, but you can potentially feel it earlier. It is occurring on the 23rd of May, and it will go direct of the 1st. Pluto is also in retrograde in the house of Capricorn until the 6th of October. We also have, last but not least, Mercury in Gemini going into shadow by mid-month in the house of Gemini. So a lot of action, a lot of movement, some frustration, pre-warned, forearmed. Now, for your astrology best boss dates, we do have the 9th. Allow love to be fluid and be playful. On the 11th, deep clearing of emotions through actions and relations and relationships. On the 13th, make your dreams come true with beautiful aspects to Neptune. On the 1st to the 15th, get your resumes out and hold on to your hats as Mercury goes into shadow retrograde. Now, these are the astrology hard boss dates, but they're also very quickly some things to be very mindful of during this month and beyond. With Mars in Cancer, we can be guided to be quite emotional, and if we're suppressing things, we can be more upset and aggressive in nature. We also, with Mercury going retrograde, can have some confusion and need to slow down, especially when traveling. Cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and breathe. Now, the 2nd of May, caution with speech and travel, but be on the ball. On May the 11th, emotions and triggers can get the best of us, so try to avoid control. With Pluto and Capricorn retrograde until the 6th, we can feel a little bit nervous when it does come to endings and be coming to term with those things. Use it as a quality system. On the 14th, plan ahead, double check and read all your documents, keep your receipts as Mercury in the house of Gemini goes into shadow retrograde. Stay tuned for the romance reads. Yes, we are live on Friday every week, and we have super chats if you do want to come and join us. This is the website. It's very simple to use. The link is below. You can ask me questions. If you're on the website and struggle, there is a video to show you how to deal with the website. There are time zone changes, amount conversions for those of you in America or other countries, and there's a time as to the location. If you do have an issue, as I mentioned, you can inbox me via the website. The link for the website is in the information box directly below. Yes, I do emergency readings, I do coaching, telephone readings, Skype readings, email, or more. Love to see you back again. Please comment in the information box below. How did this resonate with you? And I trust you travel well.